Good morning. You ready to get to work? Did you get your poop on? All right, come on. Oh. Yeah, your feet are soaking wet. Don't worry about me. So this is sold, and this is fixing to be a neck knife here in just a little bit. I'm really trying to figure out a way to ship cheaper through the United States Post Office. That's all I use. They're the cheapest. And I use their priority boxes because, they come with automatic insurance. It's not much, it's $50. And it's more than that, it's $200 if I ship to Canada. So, by the way, I spent $94 yesterday shipping. I think I already mentioned that. 32 of it was to Canada, one box to Canada. My fault. I put it in a flat rate priority mailbox. I should not have done that. I wasn't thinking when I boxed it up. But anyway, so this is sold. And when I was walking down here, I'm really wanting to get to work on these. This is next. This guy's been waiting a while. This lady's already paid me, so I want to get on that. And I ordered some new tools, right? And one of the companies I ordered from, first time I've ever ordered from them, I've seen them around, but it's called Benchmark Abrasives. And I ordered Thursday morning these specialty sanding discs and a couple other things. And they didn't ship it. They within an hour, they had a shipping label created and notified me. So I figured, okay, well, if it's a big company, sometimes it takes a while to cycle through the shipping process. So Friday, they didn't ship it. Still had a label created. And I'm thinking, wow, these people must be too big for their own britches, and if they can't mail the second day. So Saturday and Sunday go by. I didn't expect to receive anything. Monday, yesterday, I just knew for certain that I would get an update that the post office had picked it up and it was in their system. No, I didn't. And now I know what it is, and it's happened to me before. And it's such I think it's wrong to do this to your customers, especially a new customer. They don't have this product. It's on their website. They advertise it, but they don't have it in their possession. So what they do is wait till you order it, and then they order it, and then it comes to them, and they ship it to you. I've even had stuff drop ship from the person not Benchmark, but other companies, which is fine. It knocks 2 or 3 days off the process. But, I'm not like a big shop. I don't keep a whole bunch of stuff in a stock room that I can rely on. If I need something, I need it. And I'd have ordered it from somewhere else if they say, well, we don't have this in stock, so it'll be a week or whatever. I want to get started on these. I don't have any more projects. This is my last customer-made knife, the BC knife. And then I have little projects I want to finish, like the Ulu. I want to finish these. I have some knives that I want to make sheaths for. But anyway, it's just really aggravating when a company sells a product they don't have, and then they don't tell you that they don't have it. I went through this years ago when I was a long-haul trucker. General Motors, and other companies do this, but General Motors specifically was what I had experience with. And it's called just-in-time shipping. So instead of General Motors keeping Vortec engines on stock, my wife and I would leave Shreveport and drive up to Romulus, Michigan, pick up an entire trailer load of Vortec engines, and bring them back to the GM plant in Shreveport just in time. And I mean the entire way back. You got so used to hearing this that you ignored it. If you don't hurry up and get it there, they're going to have to shut the plant down. Well, what kind of major plant waits on a 53-foot trailer, their entire plant and all their employees hinge on a 53-foot trailer not having any flats, not encountering a wreck, or a traffic jam, or construction, or bad weather? What kind of a plant lets their entire company hinge on one guy in a truck. And it's called a just-in-time shipping, and it eliminates their need for storage, their need for insurance, their need for additional employees. And then the opposite thing, if you get there on time and they don't need their engines for a little while, well, guess what? You are their storage facility. You and your truck sit on their property until they are good and ready for their engines. I did that for about a year and a half, and I realized I was losing money. I got paid good mile-wise, but I got screwed constantly time-wise. And time is money in the trucking industry. If my tires aren't turning, I'm not earning a dime. Now, some areas will pay something called demurrage. Like you got to give them 2 free hours of sitting at their dock. And after that, you get a stipend. For one company, I got $60 an hour, which I didn't mind. I would have to sit there 8 or 10 hours. And, I'd make $600 sitting there, sleeping, watching TV, eating pizza. I didn't care about that. As long as my equipment that I had to pay for was earning money, I was okay with that. But General Motors would not pay demurrage because they had to pay their union workers so much. They couldn't pay other people who were providing their parts, a reasonable fee for their equipment and time. So that's what this company's doing. They don't keep anything in stock. They wait till they get orders, and then they order it and then ship it to you, and it's wrong. And I hate that. And I won't be ordering from Benchmark Abrasives again. I even ordered some sanding belts, Normally, I order from Combat Abrasives. I'm an affiliate with Combat. Combat ships quickly. And there's a couple other, there's other people that I order from online that I'm actually friends with on Facebook, and I do try to spread my business out. And this one place, Phoenix Abrasives, he'll have real good sales sometimes. I mean, I have a lot of grits that I don't use a lot, but I only bought them because they were so cheap, and I really wanted to support a guy who, is a smaller company, and his shipping is like same-day shipping. Okay. 7 minutes of me complaining. All right, we're going to get to work. We're going to turn that into a knife. I'll show you what I got in just a second. I just want to say this. I'm experiencing this. I don't hang on my phone. Let me back up. I am experiencing some memory issues, and they're, somewhat serious, but I have finding that there are ways to deal with it. And one of the ways is removing stuff from my phone and email and text messages that I've done. That way I don't get confused about what I have to do. Like I mailed a couple of knives to a fella, and I immediately removed his address and the communications we had so I don't get confused about other messages I have that I have not done yet. So that's how I'm dealing with it. So if I keep asking you for your address, and you just had a box mailed to you, it's because when I do something, I immediately remove it from my email and my text messages so I don't get confused and I don't try to remember if I did it or not. So if I don't see it on my phone, I know I did it. It's just one of the ways I'm having to deal with this. And the memory loss, it is not Alzheimer's or anything like that. I think part of it is age, somewhat, but I think most of it is the number of surgeries I've had and the length of time I've been under anesthesia. It's a very common problem, and sometimes it does resolve itself and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm having to find ways to deal with my newfound memory loss. And, I mentioned this the other day, and then I deleted the whole thing because it was 10 minutes of me talking about this, and I will make it quick. I'm even having trouble remembering, like if I get on my motorcycle or in my truck and I head somewhere, I forget where I'm going. I forget what road I'm on, and it takes me a second. As long as I don't, a couple of times it's happened, I got panicky, because that's a scary thing to all of a sudden not know where you're at or what you're doing or why you're doing it. But I have found that if I don't let myself panic, if I just pull over a second, it all comes back to me and I can just go on about my business. So I'm experiencing memory problems, and I know I have probably angered some people or at least hurt some feelings over recently. It was a cleaver, and I had 2 or 3 people contact me about the cleaver at around the same time. And, you know, it's not anything personal. It's just that I am having some issues with my memory, and I'm finding it difficult to find ways of dealing with it. And my wife said, well, why don't you write stuff down? Because I would lose the pen, and then I would find the pen, and I would lose the pad. And then I would find the pad, and then, I would lose my pen again. That's just how it's working for me. Things that I do all the time, I'm not having any problem remembering the steps. Now, when I got out of the hospital this last time, I had 6 knives laying here that I had been untouched for about 2 months because I was so sick I couldn't come out here. And when I finally did come out here, man, it was like learning to make knives from scratch. The steps, I had to go real slow and try to recall what to do next because you can't jump the gun. Anyway, so please bear with me. If I do make mistakes, it's not because you've been slighted or I don't appreciate you inquiring about a knife or a cleaver or one of my knives. That's just because I'm having some issues that I'm trying hard to deal with, find ways to deal with it. And one of the ways I'm dealing with part of my memory issues is as soon as I do something, remove it from my email, remove it from my text, so I don't see it and have to ask myself, oh, did I do that? Did I mail that yet? Did they pay me for that? Oh, what did I do with that? And that just eliminates that. So I need to mail this to somebody, and I just mailed him something yesterday, I think it was yesterday. See what I mean? And I erased our communication and his address for that reason. I don't want to forget what I did. So once it's removed, I've done it. And sometimes I'll sit in the post office parking lot and erase what I've done, addresses. All right, here we go. I'm going to try to add a little Coke bottle shape to these neck knives. And the reason is they're small and it's hard to get a hold of it and yank it out of the neck knife. So if you give yourself a little bit more grip, I think it helps. I'm fixing to go buff this whole knife. I'm going to go put my edge on, and then I'm going to tape it, both sides, and then I'm going to make a Kydex sheath. So this will be ready to ship here in probably a couple hours. And if I can get his address between now and then, I'll ship this too. I got to go home and send a bill to this gentleman for the machete, the big case knife that I redid, and a Gerber 650 that he wanted, and this knife here. Alrighty, let me get to work. I'll show you what this looks like when it's all buffed out. All right, that's what we got here. I did not put the edge on yet. I'm gonna wait till I'm done and then put the edge on, and that's what I usually do. But I thought since I was in the buffing room, I would go ahead and turn around to the sharpening machine. But I will end up, even though it's a small knife, I'll end up cutting myself. So, and the reason I put tape on the blade is to give, in the Kydex, when I would take the tape off, that's, probably an extra 1/64 of an inch, or, maybe a little more. I don't know, 1/64, not a 32nd. So what would it be? God, I don't know. Don't think, Brad. So there we go, polished, shiny, and this is a 400 grit finish. That's a satin finish, but I run them across the buffer to drag the ridges off, and that way it attracts moisture less. It's not impervious to patina, but it will take longer to patina just because the deep ridges are gone. So now we go to the Kydex, the leather shop, Kydex shop. And I know a while ago, before I went into the hospital, I did a whole bunch of work in my leather shop to add Kydex, and I do still plan on adding Kydex sheaths for all my knives, but it's really expensive, and I've done all I can afford to do in there right now. I mean, everything from the little grommets that hold the Kydex together and the belt loop clips that attach, and then the screws and the rubber grommet, rubber wall. I mean, it's all very expensive, and it's taken me a while to get tooled up. So it'll be a while before I go into Kydex like I thought I would. I do intend to, but everything is so expensive, it's just going to take me a little while longer to get tooled up for it. All right, let's head to the next room. Couple more minutes. Couple more minutes. Okay. All right, give it about 30 minutes. All right, that's what we look like. Now I take a pencil and draw, just put a little dot where I intend to drill my grommet holes. And what I do, where's my pencil, is I put my two up here first and get them in there and hammered shut, and then I pry this open and take the knife out. And then right here is where the Kydex primarily catches and holds this in. So I start here, then I come up. I mean, I try to make these as small as possible. Like this. This was the only thing that was wrong with this was the person didn't like the color. I can't remember what color he wanted, and I don't know why I saved it, because each knife is different, and there's no way this knife would ever fit in that. But you know what? I'm going to try. And if it does, there's a pre-made one right there, and I like that color. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my first two in here and go from there. Okay, the knife is out. I've got my grommets in and hammered closed. And now I cut out what I don't want left. And I bought this saw just for cutting this out, but I can't do this in here till I get a really bright light up here. Either a light individually on that machine and that machine, or just a bright light over them. Because by the time I stand up in front of the machine, that light doesn't get cast on it and I can't see what I'm doing. So until I get lighting in here, I got to go back to my other shop, cut this out, and then while I'm in there, I take my sander and knock the slag off of it. Kydex slag. Be right back. All right, fits good. Now I go into my buffing room and I polish these edges. Actually, I got to go back into my leather shop. There's a dressing wheel that dresses these edges and it gets them ready for a polished edge. So I'm going to do that. And then I know that this slides in and out nice and easy. So this grommet, I never hammer it fully tightened closed. Now that I know that it's got a good pull, I can hammer this tight, and this will have really good retention forever. All right, let me go get this buffed and back in there, and we'll pick out some paracord for this. All right, the edges are polished. Now, we visit the Sharpenator 3000. I think I'm gonna write that here. Sharpenator 3000. All right, let me get this edge on here, and then we're doing paracord. Well, it's got really good retention in that leftover one I had. So, I think I'm gonna send him that and this, and he can just backwards. one second. I even got the chain in backwards. Let me get this fixed. There we go. So it has good retention in both. So I'm going to send him this just in case he likes that more, or as a spare. And since I gave him paracord with this one, I'll give him some chain with this one. This is a dog tag chain through Temu. All right. So I'm going to send this man a picture, send him a bill, and maybe get this mailed today. I am mailing, one second. Why does everything in your pocket fall sideways and get wedged in? This is just the exact width of my pocket. I couldn't get my fingers underneath it, pull it out. So I'll be mailing this today. I'm just really torn what to do with it. I am going to make a sheath for it, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. If you know anything about this, or if you want this, let me know. I mean, I have several. I'm not going to unwrap them. One is the big knife is. Oh no. Okay, I have 2 knives. 3 knives that aren't spoken for. Queen City Cutlery, bird and trout knife. Beautiful, beautiful knife. I have another Saber Japanese knife. It's a nice looking knife. And then I have the big Smith & Wesson that's sold, and the big Baron Soul Engine with the, I think it's an antler, but it could be bone, but it sure looks like antler horn to me, stag horn. Okay, let me go send this man a message. And get this in the mail if I can. We'll be back. Well, the gentleman has paid me for the machete and the other knives. I have been, let me shut the light off. See, it's gonna be a lot of work. This has taken me what little bit I've done. Now, this is just one side. I got a whole other side to do. But this has taken me about an hour and a half to get this far. And that is just, this here is 60 grit, that big belt grinder there, 60 grit. I'm sanding it out with some of my cheap 120 that I'm really working hard to finish up and get rid of so I can buy the good stuff, which is Rhino Wet Redline Rhino Wet. And yeah. And these little pock marks, now these here were as bad as these, and it's not bad. It's just that if they're so deep that you can't wash it. What? Oh, my AC just kicked on. Ha! That scared the crap out of me. Yeah, you know, food and bacteria can get stuck in them, so you really got to bring them down to where a sponge and soap and water can clean them up. These types of things with carbon steel, which I suspect this is some type of carbon steel, and it sure is flexible, just like that Imperial knife. And I just got done sitting here reading a whole bunch about Imperial knives. I'm going to tell you, it's very, very interesting. You know, there's so many companies that started in the early 1900s, and Imperial Knife Company started in 1916. It was 2 brothers. And it was Imperial that bought Schrade. And Schrade owned Uncle Henry and Old Timer. And then, you know, changed hands and, filed bankruptcy. And, the name was bought. It's just very, very interesting. And I haven't narrowed down where that sheath knife with a brown handle. I haven't narrowed down the era, but somebody left a comment that the handle looked like a plastic called tenite. Well, it couldn't be, and I have already forgot the next plastic that they started using, because tenite had tended to warp and pull away from the tang, and this it's a softer plastic than tenite, and it hasn't warped, it hasn't showed any signs of age. So it's the next thing. It is a cellulose type of plastic, basically. It's a wood and esters, and yeah, it's just a combination. Why are you making such crazy noises there, fan? Are you on eco mode? I hope not. I hate eco mode. All right. There we go. Okay. Well, it's going off anyway, because I got to go home and package up all these knives, and the one, the wooden handled knife, I got to package that up, and I'm going to go to the post office, and you know, it's already like 11:30, and I've been working my butt off out here. I just might take the rest of the day off, and tomorrow we got to go shopping. We have not gone and got groceries. We haven't we got to go make groceries, and we haven't done it in about a month, so we're out of everything. I'm out of eggs. I could not have an omelet this morning. I had to eat sausage with no eggs. I mean, I'm surprised nobody's come and arrested me. Have a good Wednesday, y'all.